What's up?
Welcome to NTA episode number 10.
Kimberly's kind of sick, so Dylan's running point today on the show. What a scary,
Dangerous.
what a scary type deal. Nah, I actually want to get right into it because we just recorded the previous episode. Well, it was supposed to be on release day, but then we had the Denise Fenzi, Susan Garrett coordinated attack sabotage on your internet equipment that delayed it by 24 hours. They cannot silence us. They cannot divide us. Wow. That I'm sure that huge cough will be taken out in editing. Actually, hang on. All right, I muted for that one. I do have
Good. Thank you. Appreciate that.
holdover questions from last time, but also sort of like a new topic
Excellent.
that occurred to me this morning that I've never asked you about.
Okay.
And I have like a huge recency bias where like I think things are cool, but then I think of something new and then that becomes cool and everything else is lame. So I want to ask you the new thing. I want to ask you the new thing first.
Okay.
What are your feelings on group training as a format, and have you done it?
Like for like classes?
Like any type of any type of I mean, it could be I guess group training happens in sports routinely, but like I guess technically, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that's why I was asking. Like, but that's probably not what you mean.
Yeah, I'm talking like pet mommy, pet daddy.
Absolutely hate it with an undying passion.
Have you ever tried it?
Yes. I think it is an easy get people in the door for like puppy classes and shit like that, but wildly ineffective for actual training. So it just kind of sucks. I did probably 2-3 years of just like basic obedience classes. And people find it helpful, and again it's accessible, it's a smaller amount of money, and people kind of know they're signing up for.
You mean with group you did?
Yeah.
What was your price comparison between your normal private sessions versus a group class?
Well, back then I was only charging like $60 an hour, which was obscene. And then so 5 weeks of group classes was like $200, so broke down to like $40 an hour. Yeah, it was, but like my one-on-one lessons were way cheaper than they should have been. So like,
yeah,
if like let's say I was charging like $90 an hour for one-on-ones, which is probably closer to what I should have been charging even back then. So like a little bit more accessible, and I think like people just find it a little bit there's like a little more of a social, like, oh, we're going to dog training class. Like it's just kind of what people think about when they think about dog training. So there's a little bit more palatability. Whereas one-on-one lessons, it's kind of a little bit, not that there's a real barrier to entry, but I think the perceived barrier to entry is kind of there. And yeah, people like the whole, like, oh, we graduated puppy class kind of thing. I don't know, so it's just like, there's that kind of stuff. It is helpful for the basics, like, but yeah, to get any degree of, there's just so much now that, obedience training is like 10% of what I do ultimately. You know what I mean? Like me teaching obedience is hugely important to the dog, but not because of the obedience. So it's like the owner's never going to do it in a way that gets the same benefits that I do. So like the outcome of a dog knowing sit is so, it's kind of meaningless at the end of the day.
Yes.
But like getting the dog to the point where they know a sit is wildly important, but you can't teach a class with all that nuance. So the more the further and further I get in my career, the more and more I'm like, and we've talked about it before, like if I could wave a magic wand and have everything in an ideal world, I would totally just do 8-week board and train programs, and that's it. And then
like me
and lessons with the owners. Because it's very difficult to convey. And I think too, like, there's this thing of, there's a term for it. It's not the curse of knowledge, but it's like a similar idea where the better you get at something, the more you see how badly it can go. And so I just see people messing stuff up, and I'm like, oh no, this is actually kind of risky, even though it's not actual behavioral case stuff. But then at the same time, people live with their dogs totally fine with making all sorts of mistakes. So like, it's not the end of the world. But I have a harder and harder time watching bad training. Just even with people doing it unintentionally, like these people aren't trying to do a bad job, but it's just like, it's difficult to watch student A over here as I'm helping student B over here, and I'm like, God damn it. So like, it just, yeah, it's not fun for me. But anyway, why did you ask though? Like, what brought that up?
It's like a really popular, at least I feel like it's a really popular format, and I also can't stand it. I also can't stand it.
Well, I think we're constantly fighting. Well, and this is actually an interesting discussion. Re like resources and rescue, because we are fighting a resource issue, right? Like,
Yeah.
and economics, where it makes a lot of economic and business sense to teach group classes and get people in the door and all of the things I mentioned. But from the actual ideal dog training standpoint, I think everybody knows it's not the same. Like
Yeah.
even like pet smart classes, right? Like they'll single out dogs that are just having a hard time and like, hey, we're going to recommend one-on-one. Like
Yeah.
there's definitely, kind of that, not completely unspoken, because again, they'll just tell people like, hey, this isn't the right format for you. But it does become this trade-off of the pros and cons of like, well, at least this person is taking their dog out into public and asking them to
Yep.
do things. But
Yep.
it's, you're also potentially creating some reactivity issues and like a lot
Yeah.
of conflicts. So yeah, there's that trade-off. But I think that's why it's popular though. Because it is an appealing model in a lot of ways.
A lot of money.
Yep.
A
Yep.
shitload of
That's
money. As long as
Yep.
you can convince people that like everything's going okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as
Yeah.
you can convince them to not believe what they're looking at in front of them.
Well, and I think that's the thing though, is like a lot of, again, this is like a little bit of a tangent, but a lot of selling and dog training is convincing people that they're at least making progress and that progress is in the right direction, even though it's like,
Mhm.
oh, this actually doesn't have any real relevance to your life.
Yeah.
And people just look at, like, I actually had a lesson client the other night. She's got this young, 14-week-old puppy or whatever, and she's like, her main complaint in the email was like jumping and biting. And I like went through this hour-long lesson with her, and I was showing her like lifestyle stuff, and like the puppy clearly could not deal with frustration. Like I took the leash and he was just like barking at mom and like couldn't, but like not in like a panicked way of like, this puppy was nervous, like very, very confident puppy, but just was like, no, I would prefer to be over there getting snacks from mom rather than, I was showing her some handling stuff for like nail trims or whatever. And I was just like, oh, this is not good. At like
No
14
problem.
weeks old, she's
Yeah,
already
you're gonna be
creating a bit of
dealing.
a monster. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And she
Uh-huh.
like, by the end of the lesson, she was like, but what about the biting and the jumping? And I was like, oh, like you didn't actually like,
Understand it
and it
yet.
was like a
Yeah.
Friday night, and I was like not on my best get, like I was getting sick, and I'm like, fuck. But I just realized it completely went over her head, because she's sitting there at the end of this lesson, and the puppy is kind of like just being a puppy as she's trying to put her leash on, and she's like, sit, 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 and I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Just tried to show her these leash handling techniques and like yeah, and like just realize that, oh, this person who's really trying their best, and again, God bless them, like she's doing the right thing and like asking for help and yada yada, so about shitting on clients, but like just realizing that is such an ingrained thing that clients show up and are like, but aren't we going to solve the problem behavior of the biting and the jumping? And I'm like, yo, and the way that you do that is just get the puppy to sit. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like I've gotten so far from, but yeah, like that's group class shit, right? Is like the answer as a group class instructor would be like, oh yeah, your dog's jumping, let's teach him to sit, which is fine and good, but then like, okay, let's also tell your dog to just stop it at some point too. But that's really, yeah, it's a horrible learning environment. And anyway, my tangent on that, I don't know if that actually connected out loud as it did in my brain, but uh, the fact that people think obedience solves every issue and like obedience is not actually
Yeah.
that important. I like, this is again the whole tangent on like our dog culture kind of sucks. Like it's
Right.
very, very detached from actual, like even the idea of dog training is kind of a weird, um, like the expectations and assumptions that people make when they hear that word is they do think like just obedience, and it's like actually like everything is closer to behavioral rehabilitation than it is obedience
Yeah.
training, you know what I mean, like even for
Yeah.
like normal dogs.
No,
So yeah,
we're lost.
cultural stuff is, yeah,
We're like as a quote unquote community, we definitely don't like we're lost on that, like totally lost. But
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah.
like every problem you just
Well,
explained,
and
imagine.
society too like thinks that people are that shallow too, like
Right.
that human
Yeah.
behavior is that simple. It's just wild. Yeah, but anyway.
Fix this by doing mechanical X or
Yes,
mechanical Y. But
yes,
imagine that problem, and then you've also got seven other people, and you're in a pen with the dogs, and
exactly,
now they're all barking at each
exactly.
other, and
Yes,
it's just like
yes.
how do you even? So I've come to the I never did group classes in like an introductory sense. I think that's psychotic.
Yeah.
I used to this. Here's a tip of the trade for anybody out there that deals with gnarly winters that needs dog distractions. I used to go to PetSmart and I would take a picture of their group class schedule, and I would show up on those nights
That was funny.
and
Yep.
just harvest. Um, because they have them right outside their little pen area. The calendar will be up, and I would always cash in on those. Seriously, guys, like if you're looking for distractions, that's always great because those dogs are always completely out of control, obviously. Um, but in the past, something that I used to do would be these like open client follow up meetups,
Yeah. Yep.
which I couldn't do anymore for a couple reasons. One, um, most of my clients, the vast number of my clients are way out of town now. Um, Two, if I openly publicly announce that, there is an actual reasonable chance someone's gonna call like a SWAT team or something. Like they're gonna call it like a terrorist threat.
Um,
So I
I
can't.
also tried that for a little while, but those reasons were not why I stopped. It
Yeah,
was literally
yeah.
just 'cause
So it's
scheduling was hard, but
just a little bit.
it's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, but that there actually is a chance that would happen. And if I really wanted to do this type of thing, I wouldn't allow that to stop me. That's just another thing. Um,
Yeah.
but I just got done. I just got home. By the way, my means of telling Kim that I was going to be a few minutes late was me asking, "Can I get a sandwich?"
Yeah.
Because I don't know why I asked you permission to go get food, but I did. I was like,
I think
"Oh
you
yeah."
said I'm going to go get a sandwich.
Oh, did
I
I?
don't think I
Okay.
actually asked,
I thought I
but to be
asked.
fair,
Um,
maybe it did. Maybe it did.
but I just got back from I don't know, I think you would kind of call it group training. I don't know how many
Yeah.
people compromise as a group. I've got Remy, the trainer that is going to be fostering Remy when I'm done with her program was there.
Hmm.
Her best friend who has an extremely dog reactive German shepherd who came by once. She was there with her dog. And then my client that a lot of people know, Sandy with Titan, uh she also came too because Sandy, if you're listening to this, you know you're the goat. She is like an intense like she secretly wants to quit her job and become a dog trainer. I just think she won't admit it to herself. Um but it was extremely useful, like crazy useful. Um in that we've got three severe reactivity cases in varying stages of recovery, being able to use them, like have them together in a pack and go out and confront like situations where there are more dogs. But it made me realize, I was like, man, why do I have such an aversion to the group thing? And that's because anytime where I do something like this, the dogs come in with a pretty high level of training
Correct.
already,
Correct.
like
And the
really high
handlers, you
level.
can go, "Hey, I'm gonna just tweak this little thing here, give you a
Yeah.
2 sentence instruction," and they know how to do it.
Yep.
Like with the sports stuff, we do that quite a bit where it's like, "Hey, let's all get our dogs out and practice." My dog needs to do a long down or, whatever the reason is, and that's super effective. Or even just
Yep.
like me meeting up with other trainer friends working our pet dogs, and it's like, yeah, that's phenomenal. But
And it's sick. I
trying
imagine
to
it's
do
sick
intro stuff is very difficult.
when you work well with people too, and you have like a
Oh,
common language, and
100%.
like you
Yeah.
know the dog, they know your dog, and
Yep.
like
Yep.
this
And they
group,
know
I
what
can.
to react to, what not to react to.
Yeah.
Like, if my dog's, like, super struggling or, they're not
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Oh,
But
sweet, I'm gonna throw a ball right in front of your face," or whatever.
I
Yeah.
realized how cool it is to be out training with serious people. And these are clients, by the way. Well, Marissa's a trainer. Shout out Marissa, name drop for the first time because she committed to Foster. She also gave me a genetics kit for Remy that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna host a competition on my Facebook where people are gonna guess the genetic makeup. Um, but I was like, man, I really trust these people. And again, Marissa didn't have a dog, but Sandy and Kiara have two gigantic male German shepherds that when they initially came to me were both completely fucked up. And Titan is very much in the post training. Like Sandy herself said it. She was like, I'm more reactive than he is now. I was like 100%. Because like a dog shows up and she starts like getting weird. But Kiara and Arkham, that's the he's the more recent one, and he was substantially more reactive. I may have footage bouncing around somewhere of some of the shit he was doing last time he was here, but I told them this time. It's always nice when you get to a good spot and you can tell clients some secrets that you didn't want to tell them back then.
Yep.
I was like, hey, just a heads up. I want to let you know. I was really afraid for you. Like
Yep.
I didn't know when I sent you home last time, I didn't want you to feel weird, but like I was genuinely concerned. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um so this time I can be like, I'm telling her that I'm making fun of her and everything. We're kind of shooting the shit. But at the same time, we're walking down a really narrow trail and I see a dog coming and I just over my shoulder and I've got Remy, so I have to pay attention to her because we took her training definitely to the next level. And I want to talk about that. And because I took her to task like pretty consistently, like hard on not vocalizing. And it was to mixed, I would say ultimately positive, but mixed results. So I've got to focus on Remy. I can't be babysitting you right now. I just looked over my shoulder and I said, Kiara, put him into heel and find an excuse to reinforce something in the next like 5 seconds.
Mhm.
And she did.
Nice.
Like instant. And like I heard the leash pop and I turned around and I saw him in super compliant, confident. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I know trainers that if I barked that out, they would have been
Would be
like, yeah,
yeah.
like what the fuck? Yeah, like what the fuck are you like? And I've only worked with them like a couple times. They were only by for the one long weekend, so a few times. So that was really I was like, wow. Um, it's really useful and cool to be around people that are really competent that have dogs that are already midway or sort of in like a post training. It's never post training, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, more
in
of a
that
maintenance. Yeah.
context, yeah, to maintenance, in that context, it's not only not annoying, it's extremely helpful depending on the dog that you're training. So Sandy, for instance, would insist if you asked her right now that she came out to me for help today. And she did, but it's the other way around. She actually helped me. I don't have anything for you anymore. Like you guys are just awesome. But Remy, like her being around more dogs in that context was incredibly helpful. Um,
Mhm.
so that is cool. And it's kind of cringy. It's almost like a private club. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
you're on
Well,
the
that's
inside.
yeah, that is kind of why dog sports are fun though. Like, of course, there's the actual side of it where it's like doing cool shit with your dog. But then for sure the social aspect, which again comes with its ups and downs, but the when it goes well, it is colleagues that you can rely on to help you get shit done. Like, that is absolutely, one of the reasons that, like, it is kind of worth putting up with sometimes and putting work into is because that is a huge benefit, and it's very difficult to replicate.
Yeah, I'm not used to that.
Mhm.
Uh,
But, like, imagine having, like, even a couple other, you know, TWC or TWC style even, like, doesn't have to be exactly the same, but,
it
like,
would
that
be
level of
insane.
trainer, you'd get so much done. Yeah,
It would be like today with Remy, we got 2 weeks of training in this morning.
exactly. Yep.
Like no, and like I'm because of their ability to control their dogs and sort of like follow basic orders, but also pay attention to what's happening. I was able to discover more information about Remy, and I was like, wow, and like remembering things based like it just
Yep.
man,
And
there
even,
are
like, simple stuff like, "Hey, go take this dog and see how she acts with you," instead of me like, you
oh
can
my
kind of
god, yeah,
mimic handoffs and, just
yes,
there's so much that you can mine out of those relationships. Yeah.
yeah, like immense help. I am again very fortunate for this, but people for whatever reason want to come from like far out of town to come hang out with me, and I need to make sure I cash in on those situations like more effectively. Like I really need to be a little bit more selfish in a way and be like, dude, I'm bringing my client dog because people love that shit. People love that shit.
They do,
They love
yeah.
helping.
Yeah. I forget how
Everybody.
valuable it is for people just to watch someone
Hmm.
competently handle a dog. Like, I always
Yeah,
feel like, "Oh, it's kind of a waste of people's time," but they're like, "No, please." Like
it's sort of a out of touch thing because I have that too,
yes,
where
yes,
I'm
yeah.
like, dude, why what like why would you want like don't you want to focus on your but no, people want to see that type of thing. And it can be validating too. Um like they're watching when I'm prong collar popping and e-collar tapping Remy. And in a way I'm like, I'm giving you permission, dude. You can get on your dog for being a fucking moron.
For sure, for
You know,
sure.
even those types of moments. I actually think in some cases, more importantly, depending on the dog, um, that is something you're allowed to let that go. Like that was really hard. And you know, that you can let that one go. It's okay. Like
Yep.
she kind of started wandering towards a dog, but that dog was going nuclear and she clearly showed restraint. I'm not just gonna just go off on her absent of trying to understand what her motives are and like where her head's
That's a
at.
really important one. Yeah.
Um so
Yeah,
people
just
being able to
watching
see that.
trainers read dogs. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
that's
yeah.
wildly
Yeah.
valuable.
And there was a fucking hilarious oh my god. So I trained with food today. Um and I'm extensively on camera because Marissa was shooting videos. Because people convinced me I should make a Remy long form case video at the end. So Marissa shot a bunch of foot. I still may not because I didn't take a lot of footage at the very beginning, but I maybe I will. I think I will. But there was this thing going on. I felt like something was wrong. Did you just hear me whistle when I said something?
There was like a
I like shattered
was
the window across from me. It was like there was something. Um, there was something going on where I was food rewarding Remy, which I don't even usually do that. Usually I use food to just in like an emotional
competing
context where I'm like
motivator.
just trying
Oh,
to
sure, sure.
and competing motivator, but more so like with a really disturbed dog like her that's really having a hard time. More so to be like activate your other senses and get you to calm down. And when you're sitting there chewing on this gunky thing and you have to slow down and but I was actually just like rewarding healing and stuff like that and rewarding silence. Um, but what was happening was we would have an amazing heel rep, like amazing heel rep where the dogs are out in front of us and she's being amazing. I would stop and I'd give her the okay. And as I'm reaching the food towards her face, about 6 inches away, she'd let out a like a squeak, and then she would eat the food. And she did it once, did it twice, did it 3 times, and I was like, hang on, something and it felt like she was squeaking to get the food faster. So like I reinforced the vocalizing like 3 times in a row. And then I told everyone, I was like, everybody watch this. Let's see if she does it. And she did it. And I was like, what just went wrong? And it was so subtle and so fast that you could barely even tell that it happened. Um I don't know why I'm talking about this. I just thought it was interesting because then I could flip into negative punishment for that and be like, dude, you like
Yeah, yeah.
you have to be quiet the whole way. I don't know. It was interesting. But Remy's FOMO issue, which
Mm,
I'm beginning to believe is the entire thing.
yeah. It's actually a huge one for shepherds. Like,
I didn't even know. Like I knew
that's
that
the
there were
thing.
dogs that would get like quote unquote separation anxiety, right? But
Yeah, yep.
probably a lot of those dogs even under the surface, it's more so just it's not an insecurity, it's I just really
No,
want to be doing that
no.
with you.
It was funny. My and now looking back, it's funny, but like poor teenage me, like didn't know how to handle it. But my first shepherd, well, first dog ever actually, she was just a Houdini in crates. And obviously figured that like I did the horrible thing of like first put her in a wire crate and then a plastic crate and then
Yeah.
finally, like the impact and but she
Hmm.
progressively got better and better at it.
Adapted, yeah.
Yes, yes, but literally she just was like, "Fuck this crate, I wanna be out," and out with the family, but, like, you could leave her home, and as long as she had, like, access to the bed, she's like, "Sweet, this is chill." But, like, if we like, she loved to swim for whatever reason, thought she was a lab. We would, like, put our swimsuits on, and she would be like, "No, absolutely not," and then start trying to break out of shit.
Oh,
But, like, it was not separation anxiety, it was very specifically like, "I know you motherfuckers are going swimming without me."
yeah.
'Cause, like, didn't care, like, if we put our normal clothes on for school or
Yeah.
whatever. She's like, "Yeah, whatever, I'm just
That's
gonna
how you
sit on the
filter it.
couch all day." Yeah,
That's how you
yeah, but
filter
she
it.
was
Very
and she was
conditional.
actually, like, a wildly confident man, I wish I had that dog again, but, super pushy dog.
Well,
That dog
how many
raised me
people
in
would
so
be
many
like
ways. But, yeah, it looked like separation anxiety,
an
but it was like,
anxiety
no,
disorder?
she just knew what she wanted and wouldn't stop at anything to get it.
Hmm.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That
anyway.
that that that's a real thing. And this dog is forcing me to think about that.
Mhm.
Um and I could hear Fair snort like a little piggy right there.
What
I
would you
hope
say,
the
Paul?
editing doesn't pick that up.
It probably will because it was right by my
So
AirPod.
um so a
Can
detail,
you hear that?
no, is she snorting again?
She's just
Fuck,
licking my
I'm missing
AirPod.
it. Um but having people out with me walking their dogs, I was able to tell them, okay, I want you guys to go ahead. But it was more so I wanted to see how their dogs would react to incoming dogs if they were ahead of the group. But Remy started having a really hard
Freaking the
time.
fuck out. Yep.
And then it made me remember, wait, back then, before they dropped her off, they said she would go crazy if she wasn't the first one in the walk. Like if they did go on a group walk, she needed to be in the lead. It's it's less that she feels like she needs to be the tip of the spear, and it's more so she can't stand that her friends are over there and she's not with them. And it's like crazy for her, like really bad.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it
and I
hurt it
guess, like,
hurts.
just to piece it apart, it is, like, social or, sorry, separation anxiety and the fact that it is, like,
Yes.
social, panic of, like,
Yes.
separation, but it isn't
It's
it
from like
isn't
it's from like a positive motivation though, because she's just like,
correct,
I
correct.
want to be with you doing those things with you.
Yes, like, she
It's
doesn't think
not
she's
like
gonna die,
die.
she
Right,
thinks,
right.
like, "How dare you?"
My safety and well-being aren't at risk right now. It's just that like that's happening over there with my boys and I'm over here. That's unacceptable and she can't cope with that. Then if you start to link it back to her with dogs playing, so that's not about a dog being reactive or being in high arousal. It's just a dog in front of her having fun and her not being able to do anything about it. So it's like narrowing down that. Like it's not a social dysfunction in that I've been deprived of dogs and there's a bunch of questions, which is what what I've been thinking is that she has all these questions. No, it's just that she believes that if something is happening over there, particularly with dogs, I can do something about that, and if you don't let me, I'm gonna start melting down. So it's sort of is a it's really illuminating in that way because again, it also makes sense. There's zero aggression in this dog. There
Correct,
was never any anger or hate or
correct.
any or like
Not even
fear.
nervousness, not even
No,
suspicion,
no,
just like yep.
no. Just like why like those guys are fucking playing with Beyblades over there and you're making me sit in mass. I'm not
Yep.
fucking doing that.
Bullshit.
So all of a sudden, it has become almost like a premium for me to line up situations where I can go out on a walk with somebody because now, of course, I still need stranger dogs. That is still an issue for her because she wants to go see them. But I can also mimic some of that without the stranger dogs. I could just have a friend come. We walk parallel for a little while, and then they break off for a minute. And I'm going to have to get on her. Like today, I had to get on her, and it worked. There were some situations where I was a lot more lax, particularly with dogs coming by that were blowing up at us. But I really put the screws to her a little bit with this Arkham and Titan walking ahead. Um, and you just have to deal with watching them be on the horizon a little bit, and like you just got to stop. You got to stop blowing up. Not blowing up, but I actually started to get much more consistent about the whining and whimpering, like not tolerating it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Specifically in heel. And I should mention, so I was going to the electric collar for this. Um, I feel like it was actually helpful to have the non-directional pressure of the e-collar when I'm trying to address something while she's in heel without making her think it's a positional thing. So the e-collar suddenly serves a much more clear purpose in that way. Um, Watching her realize that, oh, I'm still getting the heel right. And like, that's not why I'm getting tapped. And having her go through that cycle in her head was really fucking interesting because she put it together very fast. But I was watching her like, dude, I'm healing. What's up? Oh, right. Um, which was kind of cool because you can see her eyes are so. I mean, number one, they're like on opposite sides of her head, but they're like incredibly expressive. You can see what's going
Yes.
through her head.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, really, really cool little group outing. What else happened? I mean, so much fucking shit happened, but I don't we don't have to spend all day on it because I
Well,
wanted to ask you.
what does knowing that it's a little bit more FOMO and less sort of like, I don't want to say like traditional reactivity, but like
Yeah.
diagnosing this a little bit more with a
What can I do with
finer
that?
point. Yeah, like what does it change, if anything, in your trajectory with her?
It makes this a much more feasible winter program because I can generate a fuck ton of this inside of my own home. Like an atomic fuck ton of it. Using my dogs, even just using myself. Like that's how it's also how I was getting her to bark is I was going down the hallway and like
Yes.
tapping on the
Yes.
wall and she's like, what's happening? Ah, like right. Um so I need to go back into the dungeon with the playing with Scout while you're over there on the chair. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to crate her, maybe even out of sight, like around a corner, and then I'm gonna play with my dogs. And I'm gonna have the e-collar on her. I will, and I think I may try reinforcing the enough command, which I'm introducing now, and not in the barking setups, but in the to tell her to shut up when she's doing that. Um, and I think I'm gonna try reinforcing that as if it was a bark collar in a way. Um, but this makes it so that it's actually not as necessary to go out dog hunting every day
Right. It doesn't have to be a strange dog.
because we can touch on the problem like right here. You know what I'm saying? Um, we still do need to find strange dogs, but it's not as much of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. It doesn't
there
need
are
to be
some dogs
90%.
there are some dogs where if you can't find dogs, you can't do the
Yeah.
program.
No.
They need to be out on leash around other dogs to
Yep.
generate the issue
And they
situations
know
where
when
we can
it's a
deal with it.
setup.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh my
Yeah.
god. So many videos, dude. I mean, I feel like I don't see it so much anymore, but like you'd get the dog in a down on a place board and the trainers are all walking their dogs in circles around them in their facility. It's like, dude, what the like I get what you're trying to do, but the dog knows this isn't real. They know that when I come into this building, I need to be in this mindset, right? And then when I leave, shit stops mattering. Um and people sometimes try to use that logic as justification as to why dog training isn't like a real thing. I don't know if
Yeah.
you ever seen dog trainers do that, where they'll be like,
Yeah.
your training's not sustainable. It's like, okay, then what is sustainable training then? because I'm outside, like, living life with the dogs. If what I'm doing is not sustainable, I want to see what sustainable is, because you are in the back of your facility having dogs search for food in a little kid pool full of plastic bottles. And like, I don't like, that's not, I'm sorry, I don't find that to be relevant to real life. Um, but so there was a big day for Remy. It seriously informs things that I can do with her going forward. Uh, she is extremely challenging. Uh, like I'm finding her to be extremely challenging, anyways.
Yeah.
Um, like she's getting so much better, but I'm still walking that fine line where I'm trying to meet the accountability
Hmm.
without being a douchebag.
Yeah.
Like, trying to parse out, like, okay, I'm gonna let it go. Today was big for me because I was like, I need to start trusting myself a little bit more and really let it go. Because I've been holding back on her. I now realize I've been a little bit too patient with her because stuff was working. And that's another thing too. When you finally go, no, dude, I'm actually just gonna put my foot down and it works. You should look back on how you were treating the dog and go, I was kind
Yeah.
of treating you like you were stupid, even though I know some of these things were involuntary to some degree. We've been going, we could have been going a little bit faster, but it's totally
Hmm.
fine because there's no deadline with her. But
Yeah, and that stuff is hard because, like, I think I do find myself erring on the side of too slow rather than too fast. Because if you go
yeah,
too fast, that's a whole, like it is very tricky. Like, you don't know until you've gone too fast or too slow, I guess. But like, you don't know you've made a mistake until you've made that mistake. And I think it's way
yeah,
harder to pull back a too fast mistake than it is a too slow mistake.
yes,
As long as
yes,
you're not
yes.
being actually, snail pace about it, obviously
It's
within reason.
it's
But
too hard. It's too hard to talk about this, the too fast, too slow
yeah,
type thing, unless you've got individual dogs, because it's too specific
it's
to the
so
dog.
vague. Yeah, yeah.
Um, but for her, I guess, so in one case, like with the dog thing and with the friends being over there thing, I'm being much more like ruthless in that, where I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Hmm.
But but um like, Marissa asked me when we were out in the woods and there weren't any other dogs around and she was up ahead and she was still letting out squeaks and stuff. And she was like, what do you think that she just like does that because she's excited? 100%.
Yeah,
Like, she
yeah.
just does do that, and she's lived a very sheltered life, literally, in some
Yes.
cases. Um, so she's just a really enthusiastic blockhead getting to run around in the woods for the first time, in her life. And that's amazing, right? Oh, so yeah, yeah. The so to the how would I tell her to stop being vocal without doing a blanket all times, blah blah blah, whatever. You can set up these very clear, obvious criteria
Yes.
where, so like, the heal command for her was taught very low key, very lethargic, very lazy, and flat. And it has always been that. So when I'm healing her today and she's squeaking and I tell her enough and I start tapping the remote, she falls back on the, oh, we don't heal that way. This is how we heal. And she shuts up. And that was because of how I taught it. If I had taught it while she was whimpering, that probably wouldn't have made as much sense to the dog.
No, for sure not. Yeah.
So now I'm using the heel to teach the enough cue, right? Now I release her and she's up ahead and she's squeaking and whimpering because she's just excited to be out with these two gigantic German shepherds tearing shit up in the woods.
Hmm.
Every once in a while I would tell her enough just to see if she would get it.
Okay.
And the first time I did, she like turned around and looked at me like, she started recalling to me, and she was being quiet, and I shooed her away, and she was like, oh. And that's where she made the understanding that, like, it doesn't have to happen right on top of you. You can also tell me to shut up at range and I don't have to come back to you. It literally just means stop making sound,
Yep.
which
Yep.
was really cool to watch her, like, in real time figure that out. Um So
Also, something
that's
real quick that you like started to bring up that I don't know if this directly maps onto Remy, but I think um there's no like again shepherds. There's noises that they make that are just noises of like play and like joy in life. That to me are not it's the same as like a dog growling during play, right? Like it's not problematic, but then there's noises that they make that are either, which the most obvious one is like trying to bark to make something happen, which is like, hey, that's not allowed, outside of it being cued. And then noises where it's like coming from like a bad emotion, and that again is like something that we're going to address. But I think people do get mixed up between like if your dog is like running in the woods chasing after another dog and like yipping like that.
Mhm.
Like there are allowed vocal, again, it's the same thing as like just because your dog jumps on you and play doesn't mean that you can't teach it to not jump on you when you're
Uh-huh.
just chilling in the house, you know what I mean? So like making those
Mhm.
separations with vocalizations as well is definitely something that people struggle with, and like understandably, but you can definitely draw clear consistent guidelines for the dog on like, hey, you can't be a jerk and be pushy with your vocalizations, but you are allowed to express emotion with your vocalization within a certain sort of healthy range, if you will. Um, so yeah, you just started to like mention that a little bit with Remy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
The
I can
the
tell you to settle down too, but like
right.
I'm not going to like try to punish you just for having fun either, you know.
But what's cool about that is she clearly understands that just whining and whimpering does not get me in trouble as a blanket idea, which is cool because a lot of trainers would say a dog could never comprehend
Correct.
that.
Yes.
Very easily can. It's kind of similar to with the dog that we would play by. I would send them after parking cones to attack them. I have a shout out to the Patreon. I got to get more videos up there. I am soon. Don't worry, maniacs. But my video, how I walk dogs for training and for enjoyment. We walk by parking cones while he's out of command, and he doesn't even look at them.
Yep.
And he's not avoiding them either. It's just that
Right.
he
He just knows it's not
understands
on the table right now.
in this context we're not playing. We're just on a walk, right? Now, if I had gone over and slapped him on the butt and went, "You ready?" He'd go, like he'd be ready to go because he knows that's how I would initiate play and stuff. Anyways, it's cool. People would think an animal couldn't get that, but they really, really can. So
Yep, absolutely.
with Remy, it's been especially, I think, useful for her to have the heel command as sort of like the rock. Like that is the place where she knows definitively I'm not supposed to be like that. And everything is sort of launched off of the heel command. And it also long term can be a management tool for that. It's like if she because I think there's going to be some level of maintenance with this where she may go through eras in her life where it just comes creeping back. Maybe you gotta get on her and tell her to shut up, or maybe you go back to healing her for longer reps. And then I'm going to be trying to bleed the healing over into being out of command. It's still relatively early on. Like we're halfway through the program, I would say. So there's a lot left to do. It is interesting, but I am totally. It's going to tie into the community thing I wanted to say a little bit. I am totally acknowledging this dog is like for me. I am finding her to be extremely challenging. Like
Hmm.
this has been way harder than any dog I've had in recent memory, at least.
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
because just the things going on in her head are so insane. Like
Yeah.
the intensity.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, the barking.
Yeah.
I'm 2 sessions in,
Okay.
and I think I'm stuck.
Okay.
I don't know if it's possible to measure if you're stuck or not only 2 sessions in, but I feel
Yeah.
stuck. I feel
Okay.
stuck. So I have a question.
Okay.
All right, and this is a problem. I actually I put this clip up on purpose so that you could reference it if you needed to. I can also send
Okay.
you raw footage. You don't want to see the raw footage. Nobody wants to see it. But anybody listening to this can also pull this up on my Facebook. So obviously, we want to raise the criteria. I got her barking this morning in like a minute, 2 minutes, which is very
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
But they are still very much like a single bark, right?
Hmm.
And there's a lot that I'm discovering too about the nature of barking and how I'm starting to identify when it's conflicted and confused versus when it's
Yep.
like full throated and confident. And that's really cool.
Yep.
These are things that I
It's
just
so,
haven't had to.
dude. I remember there was this, and it was like, bless her heart, she was just like, didn't didn't know, like it was totally her not. She was not trying to be mean in any capacity, but I remember we were trading just like bark and hold for IGP or whatever, and it was like couple set and club night with a few different dogs and a couple different sets and whatever, and she's like, man, I just get so bored of watching dogs barking. And I turned and I looked at her and I was like, excuse me, like, have you been watching the same thing I've
Yeah.
been watching? I was
No.
like, this is
Well,
wildly fascinating.
technically,
She's like,
yes,
whoa,
but
okay.
yeah, you're
Yes,
both at the
exactly.
movie theater. You're both at the movie theater, but you're
Yeah,
looking at different screens.
100%. Yeah.
And that to me, to a large extent, like with the barking, it's kind of like of course it would be more optimal if you lived down the road and I could be harassing you for help, and I would do it. I would do it in a
Hmm.
second. But there is almost this ridiculous atmosphere when it's just me and her, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
oh, yeah,
1000%. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm like, whoa, like,
yeah, yeah.
this could be
No,
going 10
that's
times faster, but
that's what makes dog training continually fun, right? Is like there is always something new with a new dog to like just work your way through, and you're gonna fail and
you're right.
try something new and fail again, and that it's
Yeah.
just like that trial and error process never gets old. It's so fun. But
Safe state of emergency too, because I have the backstop of being able to call you, right?
yes.
Or talk to you on the program.
Yep.
If I didn't have access to help, I'd be having a fucking panic attack. I would not be sleeping. Um, Even though this is
Yep.
just totally the stakes are less than zero.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't need to actually get this, but I know I have a strong feeling it will help her
Yep.
mentally, and I do want to talk about the overarching behavioral effects.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but so actually, do you want to talk about that quick before I ask my questions? So
No, ask your questions because we'll
ask
probably
my
say
question.
it'll be a good segue into that. Yeah.
So was this session 3? This may have been session, yeah. This is the 3rd session. The second session was very fast. We got interrupted. The kids woke up. Unfortunately,
Oh,
barking does
gotcha.
that. It's like impossible to practice this in the winter because I can't go outside into some corner in the woods. I have
Yeah.
to do this in my living room. Um,
Yeah.
so uh, I want to raise criteria, and the things that I would be looking for are multiple barks and the strength of the bark, right? Like that, generally speaking, that would be.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So my problem, and I put up this clip and you can see it. She lets out one good bark where she was like really like, get over here. And I wait, and like a second later, 2 seconds later, she lets out like a halfway bark, like an okay, like 2 days ago I would have been jumping out of my pants, but now I'm like, that wasn't that powerful, but whatever. I reinforced the second bark because it was multiple barks, but it wasn't the more powerful of the 2 barks. So I don't know. I don't know. Like in the moment, I was like, I don't know if that's right.
Yeah. You're thinking too much in terms of behavior and not enough of emotion. She's still too early in the process for it to actually be like super operant. So I would be focusing way more still on classically condition a certain emotion on the back tie, which will bring about powerful barking.
Okay.
So I would think less in terms of raising criteria and more in terms of how do I get her to open up further and further and further
Yeah.
into what I know she can be. So actually something I was thinking about this after the last episode, because this is a really common like user error that I think I haven't watched the most recent one you posted, but I think this might be the mistake that you're making, and I think it's interesting to talk about regardless. Um, there has to be a high degree of hope in order for the dog to bother begging for the toy. So what I mean by that is a lot of times what people will do is they'll stick the dog on the back tie. They'll throw around the prey item and make a lot of stimulation, and it's going to excite the dog because the prey drive. But the dog doesn't necessarily have a belief that if they try things, they can get the toy. So they strain at the end of the back tie, they maybe whine a little bit. Maybe the person gives them the toy at that point. Maybe they're waiting for a bark, which is even worse. But eventually the dog is going to be like, okay, I do some things, the toy comes to me, but there's not this belief that like, oh, one more little thing that I do is going to bring it to me. There's not this like like if you watch an IGP dog healing, it's like the next step I'll get it. It's like that level of like, just keep going. That's the kind of attitude that I want for barking.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I am now more afraid than ever.
Okay, why?
I'm lost. I'm not doing any of this.
Okay,
Like,
yeah,
I'm not getting any of this.
Okay, so what I
None
would
of
do
it.
if I were starting a dog, and like with Remy, like you made it work, so it's kind of like, oh, maybe it's fine, which I'm sure it is. Not trying to show you, but a lot of times what I'll do if I know that the dog is like not necessarily a genetically gifted dog, I will just put them on the back tie and give them grips and misses for a little while, right? And like get them to the point where they believe that very strongly that they can have success on the back tie, and very, very low stakes. So like something as simple as like I'll look for like a feet stamp or them pulling into the back tie a little bit more, or like even that like they'll be kind of intensely looking at the toy, like you're kind of stalking it and you're like that kind of vibe, and they're like, it's not moving, and then they look at you, like reward that, right? Like even something that simple where they believe that they're pushing buttons. And I'm not even looking for a specific, it's like I've put you in this box and there's like 10,000 different levers you can push, and I'm going to reward any of them.
You
And
just
then
want
once
the
I've
urge
rewarded
to
all of
push
those,
anything.
correct. And then I can funnel it in and start chipping away, and it's super easy because then they're like, wait, damn it, the red one isn't working. What the fuck? And then they're like hammering that red one, and then I'm like, sweet, that actually pays because it's some form of intensity and I'm increasing criteria. You know what I mean? So like I can kind of go, to me, this is again like a little bit of a tangent, but broadly there's sort of two different ways to train behavior. One is to select, and this is what most people do. I'm going to hyper select this criteria and then funnel out. So like I'm going to teach healing, and I'm going to start with the basic position in this very particular eyes up, head up this way, whatever. And then we're going to start moving, and then we're going to add things from there and funnel out and then generalize and yada, yada. The other way is to go, all right, I'm going to like capture a bunch of different behaviors and then funnel down. So like free shaping would be a little bit closer to this, but not even really. But like,
did you belch while you were saying that?
No, I just sighed very heavily.
Okay. No, sorry, keep going. Yeah, keep going, sorry.
Anyway,
yeah, sorry.
like free shaping is a little bit closer to that, what some people do. But like that is a lot of times for me, if I'm looking at behaviors that are driven by emotion, I'm going to start with whatever behavior the dog offers in that emotional state, if any, to be honest, and then funnel down to selecting a particular behavior. Did that make any sense?
Yeah,
So like even Remy air like you go miss, hit. Even that is like, hey, I output continuous effort,
right,
and it eventually brings me the rabbit. Because why should she output continuous effort right now?
So I think
reinforced.
Right. Yeah, it's never been reinforced.
I'm assuming it's never been reinforced.
Not in a good way. Not in a good way has it ever been reinforced. For some unwanted bullshit, but like this. Yeah. So I think
and to start with, continued progression isn't really enough, right? Because she doesn't understand that progression. And again, this is where people can usually like get to it eventually, because eventually the dog gets the toy and the dog is like, oh, sick, I get toys on back tide. But like, you can definitely make it a way more efficient process for the dog and
You
skip a lot of the conflict.
so I sort of like from a different angle, sort of not enough hit on the hope concept
Yep.
by thinking about when I had talked to you that one time about this hotly contested thing about whether or not you should let the dog bite in the blind.
Correct. Yep.
Um, so I would I was letting her be, and sometimes she actually was just beating me when I was trying to get away.
Yes. Yes. Which
But
is a good miss.
there was one
Yeah.
time she got it when I really didn't want her to.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, wait, I should really, for some reason, it feels like I should really pour it on right now and really like go play hard and make her
Yes.
feel like that was like a really effective
Yeah,
thing.
she was a badass. Yeah.
But I definitely haven't been putting enough attention on that. And I couldn't explain to myself why I felt like that was right. It just felt really authentic. Like it felt really that's the thing that I've been thinking about is like if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm at minimum going to try to be as authentic as I can.
Yeah.
And
Like,
that I
think about it this way. Why should she have FOMO if the game isn't that great to her? You
right.
know what I mean?
It's like not that great. And actually, this is just a scripted routine where you don't ultimately have the ability to push it forward. Like this is just every once in a while I go, oh, and I take it and I stand over there and you bap, and then you come back and then we do that. No, it needs to feel like you really just missed getting it.
Yeah, and she's like, fuck, and then yells, and
Right.
then you're like, oh, actually, that is the
Right.
thing that brings it back. Yeah.
It's like I tried lunging for it. Sometimes that works. Sometimes that didn't. My backup is to scream. And I'm going to scream with the intensity that I lunged.
Correct. Correct. And people miss this too. Frustration and like therefore the behaviors that follow comes from a blockage of expectations. And that's like core behavioral principle happens with people too. So like
Can you say that again?
frustration comes from a blockage of expectations. If I don't expect the light switch to turn on, or sorry, the light bulb to turn on when I flick the switch, I don't get frustrated. If I knew it was burned out, there's no frustration.
Mm-hmm.
So if I expect that the light bulb turned on and it doesn't, then I go, what the fuck? And I flick, and swear a little bit before I finally go, oh, I need to try a different behavior, whatever.
So
right?
I really went for the toy with my ultimate snap technique.
Correct.
And I missed.
Right. And now I feel this frustration, and frustration brings about aggressive, pushy behavior, which in this case, hopefully for her, is barking, but might not be, in which case I would select whatever that is instead.
But if the light never turns on when you flip the switch, then there's no reason to be frustrated.
Yep, there's no extinction burst, right?
So I need to be spending more time in the play, basically. Yeah. More likely.
Yep. And this is why, again, like with the dogs that won't play super enthusiastically and with a lot of persistence, putting resistance in their way to create some frustration can start to create a level of emotion and arousal generally that we can then potentially funnel into, hey, this is actually now a fun game, because there's a little more sense of urgency, right? Like frustration is tapping into this kind of that like spin up of, hey, this matters to me now. So with Remy, again, like you're specifically trying to get a certain behavior, but that's why I thought it would be interesting to do with like RE Blue, because she really loved to play resource guarding.
Right.
But like there wasn't really like, that would have been super interesting to do basically bite work with her, where it's like you're on a back tie, the toy is sitting between us, and I'm like, I'm gonna get it, and she can bark you away, but if she stops barking, I'm like, hey, I got your shit, and she's stuck there confined, and then like and gets pissed, and then you can go, all right, now I'm gonna play with, do whatever you want with channeling that emotion. But
that with her actually would have been primed to set her off to attack me to punish it.
Correct.
Which probably is something,
because now you've gone out of bounds. Yeah. Like we were playing basketball and you slapped me in the face. What the fuck?
Right. And for her, like I actually, no joke, we're like brothers. We're synchronized. I was thinking about Blue this morning. I was like, man, that is a totally like I could have tried something like this. That probably
Yeah.
is not a great dog to start with. Uh,
No.
but like she actually is like a malicious animal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
But I
Remy
think that
Remy
what
is
would have
just
been
retarded.
interesting is right, but like what's so interesting about that is she has malicious feelings around that because it's only ever been real, and she's never
Yeah,
realized it can be a game. So like my dog Jack,
gamified.
like yeah, he's a little bit more on the serious side, like just genetically, but I played a bunch, well, not me, but like the helper I was working with played a bunch of like resource guarding games with him. And now he's like, this is wicked fun. And he
Interesting.
turns it off super well.
Really interesting.
And like genetically, he's a clear headed dog and yada yada. But like, I
Yeah.
very purposely tapped into that in order to show him you can feel these somewhat uncomfortable feelings, but actually it can be really fun. Like the thrill, right? Like you
Right.
turn that uncomfortable adrenaline of like, oh my god, roller coaster into like thrill. And we can do that for the dogs too. Or like dogs that are highly defensive. Um I haven't like finished this experiment, but one of my club members, I want to play a little bit with her dog. She's a little bit on the nervier side and struggles with just like a lot of handling pressure on the bite. She'll just get a little bit squirrely and want to pop off, and she's just uncomfortable with spatial pressure. And so what I want to do is go, hey, we can push you into this defensive mood off of a bite separate from all this other stuff that we want to work, but I can show you how to spar and beat me, especially with this particular pressure that you struggle with. And that will give her this history of defeating that particular thing, in this case with her barking. But then eventually that transfers to, okay, I can actually beat this dude who's pressuring me, and I have a pathway to do that. Eventually it'll be grip harder or push in or whatever, right? Like we're looking for specific strategies and mechanics to do that. But I can show her the general idea of, hey, you can feel this discomfort, but metabolize it into forward aggression, and you can resolve this threat. So you do have control over this. And once the dog starts to feel a sense of control and self-efficacy, that very quickly then flips into the thing that used to be super scary. I'm actually going to face first dive into, because actually I love this now. Like you see this with negative reinforcement a lot of times, where like you'll get a dog over a challenging obstacle. So like slick floors or something like that. Like let's use slick floor as an example. And you use a little bit of like, hey, I'm gonna give you some like pop collar pressure, whatever it is, encourage the dog onto it. They take a step, realize they didn't die, and then all of a sudden they're like running back and forth across, or tunnels,
Hmm.
agility, obstacles. You see this a lot where suddenly the dog is like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. And they're doing it on their own,
Hmm.
choosing to do that because they
Yep.
had this sense of overcoming it. And that's deeply, deeply powerful in a way that's even separate from like reward. That was the negative reinforcement of their own emotions, their own uncomfortable emotions being like, hey, I overcame this, I conquered it, and that strengthens that particular behavior or whatever it was that turned off that pressure. So that, anyway, all of that to say, with a dog like Blue, it came from a malicious, actually, back to the shelter dog that you're talking about that pinned people, did those standing pins. It it's not the behavior per se that was a problem. It was the attitude that he was doing it in. And one of the things
Hmm.
that you wanted to show him was, hey, it's not the behavior that's the problem, it's the attitude you're doing it in, right?
Hmm.
So flip that onto Blue and go, hey, you can play the game of resource guarding, but now we're going to turn it into us actually playing this competitive game, but more on an equal footing of, you know, coach, sparring partner, whatever, and a player. Dog is the player, but I am going to draw some limits on, actually you can't turn into maliciousness,
Yeah.
but I'm
So it's
not
just,
taking away. Like you made the comment that like she likes to think that she's like this is her
oh my
feeling
God.
powerful, right? Like
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
feels her best in that mood. So instead of completely removing that from her, gamify it, make it safe, and then we can set her up to punish the shitty
You
sides,
can
but
you
still
can
retain.
isolate
Yes,
the evil.
we can thin slice that to such a high degree.
Just
Yeah.
the evil.
Yes.
Uh um yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And well,
Anyway, that's
I
my
knew
rant.
I knew I knew if I got if I tickled the tism, I knew you would go off. But I
Yep.
do like, and to your point about it like becoming, I figured that with Remy, once it clicks, it will be like a perpetual engine. Like it'll
Correct,
just
correct.
be
Like,
like,
I've never had to worry about a dog chaining barks together once the emotion is in the right
yeah,
spot. The
yeah,
only time where
you're right.
dogs will do that, like woof, wait, woof,
When
wait.
they're
Like
unsure,
that's when
wait.
they're or even like we've just trained a behavior where the dog is like, I bark, you give it to me. I bark, you give it to
Right.
me. And of course they're gonna like
Mm.
woof and then see, did that one do it? Like, why would he output more effort than he needs to? But if I bring the emotional state to where they're like, no, actually barking in and of itself intrinsically makes sense to do right now. So actually the blind in this sleeve in the blinds, this is where people get all up in arms about it. Uh, biting is incompatible with barking, like obviously,
Right.
but the mood, the emotional state is a little bit as well, right? So if a dog is chasing a rabbit and they bark, they're wasting energy. Like that's not like
Yeah.
it's not really a biologically coherent behavior to do. But if the rabbit hides, like they'll bark out of frustration or to flush it or whatever. Um, so and in like protection dogs specifically, so this is not applicable to Remy, but like we talk about aggression, defense, yada yada. The barking is to push the threat away to resolve it in that fashion. They're not thinking about biting. So like think about a dog stalking, they close their mouth. They're definitely not thinking about making noise. That's the precursor to the bite. So if we have the dog in the blinds thinking about biting, that is actually a problem. So there does need to be a little bit of and this is where you'll hear sport people talk about like drive channeling and drive switching. So we need to go from aggression to prey, and there's usually a very clear signal, almost in the same way where I could go, hey, you're healing, now you're sitting. Like those two things are incompatible, but they can exist in a very, very they can be side by side without interfering with each other if you actually have good discrimination. Anyway, that's a little on a tangent. What I was getting at with that is the dogs that are sort of in conflict and thinking I bark just to beg for a grip, or like I bark and then wait and get a sleeve.
You're hurting me.
Um,
You're hurting me.
okay.
It hurts.
got all of that. Got all of that.
It
Anyway,
hurts.
that's a
You
little bit
keep
useless, but anticipation is that's a double-edged sword. So like I want to create hope of a grip, but then anticipation where the dog starts to think that they can bite now, that's where
I've been food training. You're telling me I've been food training basically. I've been
yeah,
doing
you
like a
have
little food game training thing where
1000%. Yeah,
where
it just happens to be with the
she's
girls.
like, ah, and I'm like,
Yep,
yay, like that.
yep,
That's basically what's
yep,
going on.
yep,
All right.
yep,
So okay,
100%.
so a couple things. Number one,
Yep.
the way that you were leaning earlier made it look like your hair was a beard.
Oh,
Number two,
nice, sick.
number two, I've never. That's got to be a new sentence. No one's ever said anything like that before. But you were leaning like off camera, so like half your head was cut off, and it looked like it was coming out of your like your neck or your face. Um,
You're fine.
um, second thing. So let me because I have one more big question, but let me make
Okay.
sure I get what you're saying in terms of what I should be aiming for next time, which will
Yes.
probably be tonight or tomorrow morning. I want to think less about the bark from a mechanical standpoint and think more about the emotions behind what an authentic bark would actually be generated from.
Correct.
I'm trying to create the atmosphere that would motivate her to bark versus trying to cue these little barks and then capitalize on them and cash them in. Like
Correct.
I want to
Correct.
create like an actual like
Yep.
so
My other
so
stupid
the
analogy is like the vending machine, right? Like if you stick the dollar in the vending machine and the cookie doesn't come out, this is actually my analogy for reactivity, right? Like you don't actually have vending machine aggression, but you get frustrated and therefore start to aggress onto the vending machine,
you
right?
should have seen what I did to the soda machine at the Destiny Mall when I was there like a couple months ago. I
That's
like
what you're trying to create with Remy. Yeah.
I like fucked my shoulder up. I was hammering this motherfucker, like
You are actually
shaking
dangerous. God damn
the
it.
hallway was shaking. Um no, I was trying to show off in front of my wife.
Obviously.
Um So okay, I have something I'm afraid of. All
Okay.
right, and I'm standing in there. Okay, did I ask my other question? So I told you about the
No.
beard. The second thing was, uh, I
You
want to
reframe.
create.
Yep.
Yeah, reframing. If we get stuck,
Mhm.
or it's me getting stuck, where I'm like locking up away from her with the toy, and she's not barking, and we're just standing in silence, right?
Mhm.
Um, when this happens, I've hesitated to like move around and start doing things because I don't want her to think that any progression is coming when she's not doing anything,
Mhm.
right? But then I'm like, okay, but if nothing's going on, we're literally just standing here.
Yeah.
And she's not I guess I imagine this is something you would want to know. She's not becoming demotivated during these time frames either. So that's
Okay.
probably the most important thing. She's not like, oh, I'm gonna go lay down. She's still just looking at me like, dude, what the fuck is going on?
If a noise happens in the kitchen or something, would she look away?
Yeah.
Okay. Then she's not actually motivated enough.
So if that happens, it's less
Yeah.
of what I should be doing now and more that I'm not keeping
Correct.
her locked in enough.
Correct. Correct.
S-
Because she's probably at like 80% where she's like, oh, this is interesting enough that I'm gonna stay attentive, but not actually attempting to do anything about it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is where a lot of dogs will like sit or down because they're like, how about this?
Right. Right.
But because obedience is in their repertoire, but they're not frustrated enough to actually like yell at you about it. So like in that case, so I'll test it for sure. Like, hey, if I stop and I wait and go like that, are you gonna bark? And if they don't, I probably won't try that again in that session unless I see something drastically change.
Then
So I'll test it.
how are you getting the mouth to bark? How are you getting this MF to bark then if you're not doing that?
Because you keep testing it until they do. And like that's obviously super oversimplified. Okay, so if they're stopping and staring,
Is this what I sound like when I talk? Just don't do that.
yeah, a
I
little
just won't
bit.
do that. I
No.
wouldn't.
But yeah, so this is gonna be even more annoying. You should kind of be able to tell when they're like feeling a bark. No, okay, so realistically with Remy, so okay.
No, I know
Dogs
what you mean.
that
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
okay, so if the toy is right by her mouth, she should be silent, right? Like if I'm making actual misses, she's gonna shut
Yes.
up. But if I'm waving the toy around over here and she knows it's fully out of her reach, she'll start barking if she's gonna bark. And then I
Got it.
can go, all right, now the criteria is even without all this stimulation, I let it go dead. Now can you bark to make it move again? But
Got
you'll
it.
start to see at least something like whining, feet dancing, whatever it is, where she's like, ah, that thing's over. It's the dog is playing over there and I
Right.
can't get to it and she's starting to bark. Like you'll
I
start to see
I
that.
I did
Yeah.
notice that this last time we did it. That was more of a question for last time that we didn't
Yeah.
get to. I didn't run into that this morning. Like she
Okay.
was barking every time.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just that there were some reps where it would take a longer period of time to get to that point,
Yeah.
but there
If
were other reps where she barked within 10 seconds. You know, like
yeah.
she was like,
Ideally, I would want them to bark within like a 1.
"Oh my
Like, as soon as they
god."
see it die, then they're like, "Come on, come on, come on." So, like, I probably wouldn't push
But
it
so then
there yet
if you
because you're
didn't
giving her
get
time to decelerate a little bit, and,
right.
like,
Yeah, no, I
I'm
definitely
also
am.
making an assumption that she's not the type of dog who's gonna self-stimulate into that level of arousal, which may not be a valid assumption, but yeah,
I don't even know what any of that means. So
okay.
anyways, um
I'm just saying, like, if you let it die,
yeah.
she's never gonna push herself up to the same level of arousal where if it was actively moving. Some fucking Malinois will absolutely do
No
that.
shot would she. Not no
But yeah,
shot
like,
would
I
she.
think yeah, like, that is
Yeah.
not that takes active conditioning over time to go, "Hey, a dead toy is as exciting as a live toy." Like, that has to be taught to a
Yeah,
point.
so couple things. Number 1, we have to be really careful with those big words. Number 2, I definitely know what you mean. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm actually moving to like I'm It's not even that I'm moving too fast, it's that I'm focusing on things that just aren't relevant right now. Like, I'm looking at the visual of the picture instead of constructing the actual emotion. It's
Correct.
what's
I want
crazy
her to be
is
jumping out of her goddamn skin before I even
right,
ask for
right,
behavior. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
What's crazy is so I want to be seeing if I'm not seeing more rapid fire, like, step away, call back, then I need to be spending more time up close spiking things
Yes,
generally.
yes. Like, okay, so actually here's how I'd look at it. So, like, the decision tree to go, like, when do I move on to step B, C, D? Can I get her into what I believe is her maximum state of arousal via play on a back tie?
Yeah.
And I think you can check that box pretty quickly. And then can I play at that state and then move away for, like, 2 seconds? And will she kind of go like, "Ha," and get a little bit, like, sad that I have left? Does that affect her? Does she get annoyed that I have left in
It
some
definitely
capacity?
does. It
Okay,
definitely does, like, for
okay.
real, yeah.
Then I'll potentially start to go, "Alright, is there a specific thing that she is doing?" As I'm like that and teasing her at a distance that I can go, "Yep," and then come in or, "Okay, whatever," give her the grip, fight, and then ideally, if I can, instead of an out command I think you talked about this last time, that you realize,
Yeah.
like, don't give her an out command, yeah, so I'll either choke this is where we use choke offs, right? Where, like, I can lift
Mhm,
the dog off, rip it out of their mouth, whatever,
mhm.
agitate them again,
So that's a real
and
thing
what is choke offs?
with the out, like, causing sort of like a conflicting
Oh, for
I thought
sure, because 'cause you're
I
making them
made that
think
up.
again. Yeah. Well, and it's
Oh,
um, A, you're making them think, but also, a lot of times it feels more organic that it was a real loss. Like, "God
yeah,
damn it, the rabbit ran away from me, and now I'm mad
right,
about it." And the dog
right.
like, will actually the dogs that I like will actually get, like, pissed about it, right? Where they're like it does tap them into a little bit of, like, frustration, aggression, where
Snapping at
like
you when you're
yeah,
doing
yeah,
it.
and, like,
Yeah, yeah.
again, like, we set boundaries around that pretty quickly, but,
Yeah.
like, you'll see them actually, like, like, they get angry about that. Um, so, like, if I can kind of create that level of emotion, then I can go, "Alright, now I'm going to continue to paint this authentic picture of the rabbit ran away," but then I start going, "Alright, we've checked all of these boxes, we're good up until now. Now can I pause?" And she's, like, on, like, live wire thinking she's gonna do something, and then at that point, I might go, like even, like, pattern break a little so, okay, so this is you could, like, hide the toy behind your back, something like that, where
Yeah.
she's not stuck in stalking, like, that's where I would do something like that and kind of, like,
That's what
give her
I'm
that
worried about
face, see if
too.
it does something, and then, "Okay," and then take it out, yeah.
If the toy is visual to her, I do feel like she kind of gets lost. Is that what you'd call it, stalking?
Yeah,
Where
pre-locking, yeah,
she
yeah.
gets so, like, locked onto it that I think she forgets where she is, like, in a
Well, it's,
way.
yeah, they that's what I mean by, like, the sleeve and the blind, if the dog believes that they can get a bite, then they're gonna stop barking. So, this is where it sounds like I'm contradicting myself because it's like they need to have hope. Um,
But not too much.
well, they need to have hope that their actions can eventually lead to a bite, but if they
Right.
think that it's always, like, out to bite, and there's nothing in between, like, that's where we get dogs that are prey locked. So So ideally, to start with, I'm causing or I'm showing a very different picture between and this is where, like, again, you can use a release word, you can use of a bark cue, whatever, to really delineate this. But, like, let's say the rabbit runs away, I'll hide it behind my back, and now it's like, "Hey, motherfucker," FOMO, right? "This thing is gone.
Mhm.
You're mad about it. Tell me." And then I go, "Okay." And you flush the rabbit out from the place where I was hiding it, and now you get a grip. But if I have that thing, like, 2 feet in front of her face, she's gonna be focused on, "How do I actually weight pull to go bite
Yeah.
this?" Like, she's going
Yeah.
to be doing a behavior, which is sick, but it's not gonna be the behavior that I'm looking to actually create. So that's where, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I may want to create that on a separate cue, like, for bite sports, it would be bite, and then you have to try as hard as you possibly can to bite. But if I'm telling you that barking is the strategy that's going to work right now, then that works. So anyway,
I get it.
the whole point of that was if she's getting locked and sort of like glazed over by the toy being right there, take it away visually, and she's gonna,
Right.
okay, the light switch isn't turning the light bulb on. I'm gonna try something else because I just put my
Right.
hand over the light switch. You still want that light to
Right.
turn on, but like now I'm gonna force you to select a different strategy.
So this is what's gonna have to happen, all right?
Yes.
Because now panic is truly setting in
Okay.
on this. All right.
Did I just make it so much worse?
Well, no, I mean, I got. No, you did not. I think I have a much better understanding, but I am actually afraid. Like freaked out. So I may literally have to video call you at some point.
Okay, that's fine. Yep, we can do that.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm not doing this till tomorrow. I don't want to think about it. Because I know it's gonna happen. I'm gonna be stuck there, and she's gonna be looking at me like, "Do what the fuck?" Like, all right, no, it's okay. Everything's gonna
And
be
it's
fine.
not okay, like for the listeners as well, like, and even for you, it's not wrong to wait it out in that moment.
Yeah, but I'm definitely
But if
not.
I get
I'm not
stuck
setting her
there,
up. Right. I'm not
yeah,
setting her.
yeah,
Set her.
setting her up for success. Yes.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Um, it's more so that I'm trying to think of a comparable analogy for. It's like priming a dog to have a good first interaction with someone.
Yep.
Like there are ways to do that incredibly poorly.
Yes.
And sort of get the illusion that the dog is like, oh, he's with the person now, but there's not actually the underlying emotion that's causing the true result. And then there's ways where you really put the brain into a state where the dog almost has no choice but to do the right thing and feel good about it.
Correct. Correct.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at the barking. It's like everything is angling towards this is the answer, and you're not being coerced into it. I mean, kind of, but it's not. But she doesn't
I am
feel like that
setting it
though.
okay, I'm manipulating you into it, which is all dog training is, right? Is I'm
Right,
setting up a
right.
circumstance such that the answer that
It's
makes sense
Lima. It's
1,000% in your head
Lima.
that you're going to choose
Yeah.
is the one that I have pre-selected. It's all a
It's Lima.
simulation.
It's
This is
Lima
a giant
coercion.
simulation.
Yeah, it's Lima coercion. It's like
Yes.
you can't leave. I have ultimate power over you, and I have
Yeah.
control over the only thing that you want. Get
Yep.
fucked,
Yep. But
loser.
you don't know it.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
actually so dominant over you. I'm making you think you're in control right now.
Correct.
You fucking
Yep.
idiot.
That's good dog training. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually something uh I just you're gonna find this like potentially not even that interesting, but I think it's very interesting from a standpoint of like um rewarding strategies in play or particular specific mechanics that we want. It'll be super interesting for bite sport people, may or may not be interesting for anybody else, but I'm gonna fucking talk about it anyway because it kind of
Hmm.
relates.
Yep.
A lot of people get really
Tell him, sister. You have a show. Tell him.
this is my show. I say
You've
what I
got a
want.
program. Yeah.
It is not my show at all. This is the Dylan show. Anyway, so one of the things that we're always chasing in bite sports is like full hard grip, right? So what a lot of people do is they will the dog has a shallow grip and they'll kind of just like wait until the dog makes a counter and fills the grip and then they go, all right, now we're fighting again. A valid strategy that does work, but but that's coming at it from more of like a behavior standpoint, right? Like exactly what you're doing with Remy. You bark once, you get the toy. You bark again, you get the toy. And so it is like, hey, we're playing this game kind of sort of, but it's a little bit of a not a fake game because it's not that bad, but it's
No,
like it's
it is
not
fake. It is fake.
yeah, like
It is.
it's flag football, right?
It's like I need you to pretend to be frustrated and do this thing that you would do if
Yeah,
you were actually
yeah,
frustrated, and then you get
correct.
paid, and
Correct.
it becomes a click treat fucking
Yes.
bullshit. I know.
It becomes an activity, not a genuine scrap.
I want before you keep going, I just want you to know
Yes.
how painful this is because I was so proud of myself And like and
Oh.
I'm not totally going to allow you to take it from me,
Yeah, no, you should
but
be proud of your
it
little
does hurt.
foray
It
into
does hurt.
dog
But
sports
keep
despite
going. Keep going. I'm
denying
listening.
it constantly. Uh, anyway, so in my opinion, the better strategy, but one that can be super, super effective and is way more fun to play with, um, make a non-full grip loose, right? So if I can, let's say, the dog gets like, they have one molar not fully on the toy. If I can get something that like what I do a lot because again I'm working with like shepherds and Malinois, so it's very difficult to defeat them without like cheating in this way.
Right.
But ideally, if you could like lift them up, use a back tie to stress the grip, whatever, like make them lose that. But a lot of times I'll just take a like the whip or the stick, and just like pry it out of their mouth. And it's like every time you get a shitty grip, I'm gonna make you lose that. And then pretty quickly the dog is like, hey, I better take a full grip, otherwise I'm gonna lose it. So like the sort of boxing analogy would be if you don't have your gloves up, I'm gonna keep punching you in the face until you learn to keep your gloves up,
Hmm.
right? So like make it make sense that you're defending, in the case of boxing, like defending from a particular opponent. But then with the gripping, it's like if you give me an opening to exploit, I'm gonna take it. And instead of going, hey, nothing happens if you have a shitty grip, I'm actually going to
Right.
wait for you to fix it and then we play again. We're actually creating a sense of urgency and stress when you have a shitty grip that, again, the dog is going to be like, wow, I don't want to feel that. How am I going to get rid of this? I'm going to fill it. And that ends up being a little bit more robust of a,
Yeah.
like that training is going to stick more than just going, hey, we have this like little dance that we do that like, you
It's almost like
eventually
negative. It's
conceal it.
almost like negative. That one's almost like negative punishment in a way where it's like we're playing, we're
If you don't
playing,
try hard enough, you're gonna
and then
lose.
but what about the one? Okay, they're both kind of negative punishment
Yeah, yeah.
because like if
The
you're
the
not
one is just taking
participating,
away the more fun game. Yeah, yeah.
but in this one, like if you have a bad grip and I just let it go dead until you have a good grip, I guess it's technically reinforcement. But
Yeah.
you are
Yeah, it depends
depriving them
exactly how the
of the feedback that you would be doing if they had a good grip, right?
correct, correct. Like, it's
Um,
theoretically less fun for them to just be standing there.
but
Um,
the impact, what I think what you're getting at is the impact to the dog. I assume, especially with more competitive dogs, is much stronger if they
yeah.
feel like I actually just lost,
Yes, because it's
like I
this
got
very
destroyed.
authentic, high arousal, high
Yeah.
urgency, yeah, like, I actually got punched in the face versus,
So
"Oh, this is kind of not as fun for a second," and then it was a little more fun based on my behavior.
so
Yeah.
by necessity of needing to, we talked about this last time a little bit. By necessity of needing to take the toy from her for us to continue what I now know
Yes.
is just a total charade. Um, by necessity, like she has actually developed a much stronger grip because I am trying to get that motherfucker. Like I'm trying. Like I'm like my arms and my shoulders are blown out from this morning. We were up at 7 in the morning just beating the tar out of each other. And I also want to mention too that with the like the back tie and like the restraint and the agitation and how hard we're playing, it's so much more time efficient too. Like we're toast in 15
Yes.
minutes. Toast.
Yes. Mhm.
And then she goes back in her crate and just sleeps until we go out to train. And you did really, really, I actually wish you were harder on me. You had tried to insist months and
Yes.
months and months and months ago that you should start at least trying this because there is just this dimension with these particular dogs that you are just not accessing. That is right there, and you're just being lazy and not getting the shit that you need to do this. Which I need to have you send me links to like harnesses and stuff. And like I don't know if like the bungee cable is necessary, but I would get all the gizmos and gadgets. I don't buy anything other than video games and like gas station food.
Yep, yep.
But she is like the play is so much harder. It's fucking insane.
Mhm,
Like it's fucking insane to the point where when
mhm.
we play without that, I'm almost like, oh, I guess we're having like a low key game now. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's ruining other play, but I'm definitely like, this isn't the real you.
Yeah.
Like
No, I
you're
feel
having fun.
bad when I'm not able to do that for my dogs. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
When
right,
I'm
right.
just like
I'm
cashing it
like,
in.
I'm
Because
like, this
they'll
is
play. Like they're like, all right,
right.
I'll take this game.
They're
But
enjoying
like,
it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, not
no,
everything needs to
no.
be the peak
No, and in
hysteria.
fact, there's value in being able to play a wide spectrum of
Good things can happen while you're just like enthusiastic
yes,
versus like
yes,
psychotic.
yeah,
And
yeah. We can downshift, upshift, etc. Yeah,
but we definitely are reaching psychotic level,
yeah.
which is necessary for the barking.
Real quick too, I was gonna say, with Scout, I think this would be because you mentioned like, oh, I should practice this when we were talking about Blue. Like Blue would be a bad dog
Hmm.
to start with. I think it would be very interesting to practice getting real barking from Scout because she does a
Yeah,
lot of just like random bullshit barking
yeah, yeah,
in her
yeah.
obedience. So it'd be really interesting to play with showing her how to like toggle that on, toggle that off, and like provide clarity in her vocalization because there's a lot of overlap with Remy, not in like the specific play stuff, but in that idea of like vocalizing what High Scout vocalizing in I don't want to say like unconsciously, right? But like there is definitely this like impulsive um that sort of hectic barking
Yeah.
that I
Oh
think would
yeah.
be really interesting to play with. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And like there
That's
wouldn't be any risk to that because you could right away introduce the idea of hey, be quiet, but then also it
instantly.
can teach you how to bark and feel really good about
Yeah.
barking in the opposite
She
direction.
would
But
probably be a good starter dog for this because I
she
think it would
would,
be
she would,
natural for her. Remy,
yeah,
I don't. I think your
like you'd
assessment's
have to do
right with
some
Remy.
brutal shit in order to get her to actually forever stop barking.
Correct. I
Like she couldn't
actually, no
accidentally
joke. Back to
yeah,
us being brothers again. I actually thought about that. I was like, I wonder what I would have to do to that dog to make it so that if she thought I opened my mouth again, I just die. Like
yeah,
it would have to
yeah,
be that crazy. It's so natural for her
yes,
to
yeah.
scream. Like it would be, yeah. Um, yeah, a lot for me to chew on. I'm horrified. Um,
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna ask another question before I start talking about the scout thing. Can't remember.
so I should be focusing. Yeah, I know what to focus on. I need to grow up. I'll put in another couple outings with Remy on that,
Yeah,
and then I'll let you know if like just nothing's happening because then
yeah.
I'll just want to do a video call. Um, yeah, we'll see.
Because yeah, you like I don't know I just this is where I'm like you would find sports actually really fun because there's ways to even introduce like negative reinforcement in like a very fun gamified way in these sorts of like barking drills and stuff like that, um, and really create a sense of urgency and competitiveness that's like even more next level. Like this is even still like kind of the basic stuff that I've been talking about. So that's sort of like
What would
I think
what
I have
would
a lot
have
of
to
fun with it.
happen? Like, what would have to happen for me to fly out? Like, would you have dogs? Like, if I was just like, I'm gonna come like get a hotel for like three
I could
days,
get
could you
some.
could
Yeah.
you arrange having dogs at different levels so that like we could
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah. For sure.
Because
For
I
sure.
I would do that. I would do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's
I,
simple.
I would
I'll
I
send
would
you home with
need
a puppy.
no, nah, I'd blow my brains out before that.
How
But
about
I
a
will tell you,
chihuahua?
uh, I can't do that right now. But I like yeah, I definitely want. The fuck is going on? But you're not going to tell me Remy's not part cattle dog at least. Did I mention we have
Yeah.
a
Yeah. That'll be
genetics
so
test?
interesting. Yeah.
I'll get the test in soon.
99% frog.
Yeah, she's fucking ridiculous. She met so many dogs today.
Aw.
Actually, quick funny one. So Sandy with Python, she's horrified about introducing him to dogs. Um, or like really really scared.
Yeah.
And I pull the maneuver, extremely rare, extremely
Yeah.
effective. Where as she's basically getting him out of the car, I'm like, "Hey, we're doing this," and I let the dog run over.
Yep.
Like, I'm not even gonna let you think about it because like I know Titan very well at this point. I'm like, it's gonna be fine. And if it's not, like I guess I can grab him or whatever. Sorry, Remy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but like I like not like talking about people accidentally creating really negative anticipation with their dogs by putting things on a pedestal. It's like, dude, just go fucking do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, put the food bowls down. Stop making him watch you prepare all the other dog's food while he's laying on a cot shaking. Like, just give him his fucking food and get the fuck out of there. Why are you doing this to breakfast? Um, I Dylan said you should let dog reactivity and aggression cases run up the other dog. Yeah. What else? What else? I wanted to mention briefly,
Yes.
totally unsolicited. Remy, the foster that got Remy to me,
Yeah.
she commented. I posted a video of Remy, like Remy's training day yesterday, and she commented. She was like, "Remy never barks when she plays with dogs like that."
Interesting.
So she started barking more, and like
That's
it's not
okay. Yes, because you're going to talk about the other mind, or what else has changed in life as you start teaching her
Listen, are you
barking.
ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready for something?
Yeah.
She barked in her crate this morning.
Interesting.
She's never done that.
Yeah.
She has in the past whined a little bit if she had to go potty, but no, she's like, she hit me with 3. I was like, what the and she's playing with dogs and barking at them, and they're barking back, and she's like found that.
That's so cute. Like the little like play bow, and then they bark at each other and then run.
Yeah, but it's
Adorable.
like the very shrill, shrieky terrier bark. But it's not the whining. It's like that type of bark.
Yep.
You know,
this
not
is,
the
Yep. Like this is way out there. Like who knows? We can never prove this, but I do think with the dogs that oftentimes vocalize a little bit like subconsciously or like reflexively, I guess you'll call it, bringing a level of operancy to that can really open up a lot of control that they otherwise wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like over them, like self-control.
Yeah.
Like they realize like, oh, I can actually intentionally use my vocal cords. It sounds ridiculous, but I do think they just don't know.
It does sound insane, but I think
like a lot of dogs don't know how to bite anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even bite inhibition versus bite. Oh my God, what's the word? Like basically, do I bite at all, or do I bite with a certain level of pressure and like knowing? So like bite inhibition doesn't actually teach a dog how to bite at an appropriate level. So like Remy play biting, right? Like you could have solved that by going, hey, never bite again, but that wouldn't have actually taught her to appropriately play with with teeth. You know what I mean? So like there's a lot of dogs that same with vocalization where like they don't know how to actually use their teeth, which sounds
that's a good way to put it. That's a really good way to put it. That's a really interesting way to put it. So it was, and actually Marissa, again, the person that's going to be fostering her, she also said this unsolicited when the dog started playing. She yesterday, she was like, does she normally bark like that? I was like, no, she never barks like that. And I've been around her for hours playing with dogs now. And it's one of those things that probably the most potent moment in recent memory that I had this happen was when Pongo didn't realize who I was for like a half hour. And then the moment I saw in his face, he like woke up and was like, oh, it's you.
Yeah.
I had that type of moment with it where I'm like, there is something happening in her mind outside of my understanding, but I know it is absurdly powerful. And it is just this like really, again, humbling thing where I'm like, wow, I am really just this small little thing operating amongst forces just completely beyond my control or my understanding, and I'm just doing my best with what is actually on board in the dog's mind. Like there are processes and things that I
insane,
at least for the time, right? No matter what I do, I'm always going to try to get better, but there is this level of just mystery and intrigue to it that I don't think ever can be fully resolved.
No.
And it's sort of a satisfying, like it's satisfying in a way when it's a good thing, right? When I'm like, oh, she feels good about this right now. I don't need to fully understand it. I just know it's helping that she's barking.
Yep.
It just feels natural. I couldn't tell you exactly why. And she somehow seems different. Like there's a different, like, I don't know how to, I think a lot of the time, this is where a lot of that, like, I just like have this spiritual presence with animals. I think some of that comes from here too, where there are just these ideas that that are hard to articulate or understand, and people just kind of come up with things to fill the void.
Yes.
Um,
Like we can't actually explain it, so it's like, oh, why does it's the reason that people come up with myths and magic is like, oh, we
right,
can't explain this. But
right.
like germ
So
theory, like why did people used to get sick? Oh, it must be, what was the explanation? I can't even remember, but like medieval times before you knew that germs existed, like we
so
just came up with ridiculous explanations for it. And we do the same thing all the time.
I don't know why I remember this because I just maybe it's just kind of like funny or interesting.
Yeah,
There is
yeah.
a theory called manifestation. This was back in, I think, ancient Greece,
Yeah.
where to the best of the knowledge of the philosophers and scientists, insects and plant life just spawned out of mud
Right. Yes.
because like the really small seeds and the microscopic eggs, they couldn't find them. So they were just like, if you just take clumps of mud and put them there, shit just starts coming alive. They were like, yeah,
Which
that's just
was actually a very reasonable explanation for
that
the data
actually
they
is
had
just what it
available.
is. Yeah, yeah, they weren't like that far off.
Yeah.
But that I sort of feel like that sometimes with the dogs where like
Yeah.
there's shit going on where I'm like, I know this is really, really important, but she's the only one that knows why. And like I can't question her about it. It's very, very cool. And that wasn't even with real barking, apparently. So I can't wait to see what the real thing looks like.
Yeah,
Um,
well, and I think we've talked about this before with like people having like a healthy range of emotional expression and that a lot of people suppress
mhm,
passionate emotions if they feel a little bit negative because it is
right.
uncomfortable, but it's the same as I was talking about with like pushing that dog into defense, or like turning fear into thrill, et cetera, et cetera. I think even just allowing a dog to access that level of emotionality and have it not go badly can be very I don't know, like healing, right? Like
Yeah.
it can allow them to feel a sense of control that otherwise, like you talk about with like dogs, so socialization where it's like they need to answer questions. Like I think that's a big question for a lot of dogs and people, is what happens when I get to that level of emotionality because I feel out of control, and then
Yeah.
giving them that experience where no, actually you can go there and feel in control and downshift and upshift and downshift and upshift and actually turn it into something very fulfilling, a fun game. You're hanging out with your buddy, whatever that particular situation is. I think that can be very, very powerful to giving them. Again, it's like what she's showing you with the barking is like, oh, I can make other dogs move when I bark at them. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like now
Right.
I can play the wolf, like
Yeah.
even more, and make them be the rabbit, and
Yes.
cause things in my environment to change. That I think is not it's not something that's easy to do without pushing this level. And again, why like sports will always be extremely important for informing pet dog training and not just for creating XYZ behavior, pushing dogs into that level of emotionality and still allowing them to exert influence and control over that. A lot of people just don't go there. They think
I
it's
need you to
necessary.
I need you to be prepared for me to become obsessed with barking for some time.
I love that. Welcome.
But it's gonna be again like the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I
It's
am
so
I am I want you and everyone to know I'm gonna be in the laboratory. All right.
yes, yes.
And I'm gonna be until I get the pass from you and maybe like two other people,
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, I am competent. I'm competent enough to, and I also less. It actually has a lot less to do with me. I want to get better at training dogs, but I really want to see the impact that has on the dogs. That's the thing that
For
I'm
sure.
really interested in because
For sure.
I constantly am complaining about how I feel like in pet behavioral mod, there's just no movement. Like no one's fucking trying things. This barking thing, as dumb as this may sound, I don't think anyone's doing this.
No, no.
At
And
least no
even me
one that I
talking
know
about
of.
like the whole thing of like why sport, like what I just said, I don't think anyone's really doing that
People will nod
besides
along. People will nod along to
five
that.
people.
People will nod along to that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then just like there's just no
Yeah.
one's gonna
I mean,
fucking
I don't do it enough to be honest. Like
right,
with my dogs, is like time constraints and all the other
right,
bullshit excuses, and but
right.
like especially if you have a dog that's like uh, very very easy to play with this stuff and like a safe dog to do it. It's like for sure, you know.
That's the
Um
one regret. That's the one regret I have. Not regret, but I'm like, man, I wish I had a German Shepherd right now or something. Because like this thing is not it. You know, I don't know if you can see how derpy she looks right now.
she's
Um,
ridiculous.
yeah. But tell me when they both look. Hey guys, tell me she doesn't have cattle dog.
I
You
mean,
know,
she's got pointy ears, but like
I don't
so do
know.
a
I
lot
don't
of
know what
other
it is.
dogs.
I don't know what it is.
I'm
I'm
sure
like
it's a little
riding
more
that.
obvious in
We're
person,
gonna
but
find out.
yeah.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I was gonna say something else. I totally forgot what it was.
I think my $400 uh dog toy order just came in, by the way, a little
Oh
while
my
ago.
god.
Can
Yeah.
I can we go check? Because
Yeah.
we can do a live unboxing. I actually just realized that could be
Love
content.
that. Love that.
I
Oh,
think it was supposed to come in today, and I thought I saw a delivery truck. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, by the way, because I was banking on it coming today, I'm actually gonna be
yeah.
like really sad. I'm gonna
That
try to
would be
convince
sad.
myself that like, oh, just another day, but I'm actually gonna be really sad.
See, if you had a Chihuahua, you'd know whether or not it showed up.
It's a good point. Or if Remy would bark.
Well,
She was actually locked in the bedroom with me. She won't bark and shit
oh,
like
funny.
that.
Yeah.
All right,
Does
let's.
Scout not alert bark? She
No,
must.
she goes fucking crazy, dude.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
goes fucking insane. All right, not looking good.
Oh,
Okay, I don't know. Oh wait, no, none of this is good stuff. Fuck, that's dog food.
it's all bullshit
No,
for the
I
kids.
got so
Oh,
excited.
sad.
Yeah, and I think this is Christmas stuff. That's so lame. Fuck you, Santa. Bitch. I got so many toys, dude. I got so many toys. Oh wait, a couple of them are here, but that's not like more. That's not as fun as like a huge unboxing. No, that's not it. That's not it. My Learburg box is here, but it's not. I don't
Ah,
get to do my big Ray Allen haul
yeah.
because I got
You just
like
buy a bunch of tugs.
I got the barrel tugs. I got a bunch of shit.
Nice.
Um,
Very cool.
yeah, god damn it. Yeah, from Learburg, I got the Star Mark squishy ball on rope, the green ones, because I see everybody at school using those.
Yes.
I want to be like you guys. So
I
I
actually
got
have
some.
never used one of those. I admit, I'm not a
So I
cool
can try.
kid.
This actually could be potentially some Remy bite frenzy. If it can tank a Malinois, I think it can tank this little
Oh,
fucking
for sure.
gremlin.
Yeah.
Um, man, I'm heated. I was really hoping we would do an unboxing right now. That would have been a NTA first.
That would be.
Be like, these are nice handles, you know. Oh, that's a big fucking ball, dude. Okay, I'm glad I got
Oh
some of
yeah.
the mediums. Yeah, that's nice.
Remy can't even fit that in her mouth.
Get him, Scout. I don't even think Scout can fit this. Drop it. Go. Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah. No, Scout can't even fit it. So that's gonna be a shelter toy. Get him. Get him. No, Scout won't even grip it. I think she's freaked out because it's
Aw.
cold.
Yeah.
Remy's pissed. Okay. Well, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, she's pissed. I'm tempted to put her on the back tie and start, but I'm not going to. I'm too tired, and we did too much today.
Yeah.
I got new windows in my house. That's pretty chill.
Damn.
What other updates? A bunch of people want me to die. What else is new? I took a picture with an Asian person today to make it up to everybody.
Yeah.
And a black person.
Damn.
German Shepherds group classes. I asked you a lot about the barking. I got freaked
Mhm.
out. A lot to work on. Scared. Essential video call if I get stuck. Okay.
Yo.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to say to our cherished audience?
No, I think that covers anything I had on my mind. I don't know. I didn't
New
have much on
window.
my mind today, so
New window over here too. Just kind of lit.
nice.
Used to have bars on
It's
there.
like, yeah, that's a nice little reading nook.
Yeah.
Nice
Did you
little
say
like curl up
reading? Did you say
reading.
reading?
Yeah.
I haven't read a book, dude. When people ask me, like, dude, Dylan, can you make some recommendations for like dog training books? Like, the fuck?
No.
What are you
Yeah,
talking
that
about,
dog
dude?
training books.
Like,
Yeah, I actually,
TWC has like a recommended reading list before you go into the course, and I'm like, and
which isn't even actually.
it's like 10
It's like,
books.
well, maybe you got a different one, but like ours was literally like the Karen Pryor,
Conrad
like
Most.
don't shoot the dog, and then yeah, Conrad Most, and I think maybe Keeler. But
Yeah,
like it was just
yes,
like
yes.
historical books that like
Right.
definitely it wasn't actually for the relevancy of the information.
No, but the
Just
Keeler
like
stuff is actually super fucking interesting.
it is.
How
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the emotional department, the emotional recovery concept, he was like 100 years in the future, which is
Yeah.
crazy because the methods were so blunt.
Yes.
He recognized we actually have to tell the dog it's okay because we're like not making it okay.
Yeah.
So we have to tell him you're all right. Like I'm not actually trying to kill you because I'm being a fucking
Yeah.
maniac.
Yeah.
So that, I mean that again, like you were saying, art and artist, right? I don't have to full send endorse everything that the system says or become a follower to say, hey, that's very cool that he came up with that with the limited resources he had back then. You know what I mean? And that's a huge that concept of the emotional state and recovery is a huge part of TWC. But anyways, this is my training field. This is where I go when I'm like teaching dogs how to play and all that. Just for the
That is so
maniacs, if
nice.
anybody, an
Yeah.
aerial view of the day to day playground. All right. So what else? Do we have anything coming up? Is anything? I have the two potentially. Well, they are very interesting, and they really want to be on the show. Very interesting guests from the United Kingdom who I almost don't even want to spoil. Like, should I mention a little bit or no? The
No,
first
make
guest.
people wait. Make people
Yeah.
wait.
So for our first guest appearances on the show, I think that extremely unique and interesting perspectives. Um, Yeah, I won't say anything more than that. I want to go into it because it's super fucking interesting. Like they are very, very interesting people. Like the things they've
When
been
we
through.
actually like schedule it, then we can
Yeah,
do a
we can start
teaser
talking
for sure.
shit. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I actually have to message them back. So yeah, keep an eye on that, maniacs. Aside from that, we pray for Kimberly's continued health in these
Yes.
tough times.
Yep.
Um, Pray for this one. And everyone, so okay, next week, man, we never record this early in the week. This is kind of crazy.
No, it's gonna be weird
Um,
when I go to
yeah,
actually edit it. I'll be
a
like,
lot of
what did we
content,
even talk
a
about?
lot of content stored up, hopefully. But yeah, everyone stay safe out there. See you later.
Sounds good. Bye.
Peace.